There are a few things more satisfying than a diplomatic up yours to someone trying to do you damage. I think it shows tenacity and strength, as well as that famous Aussie irreverence. Well, today, I'm really pleased to say we did just that. And this time it was to the Chinese Communist Party, because we had some really good news on the export front. Some important Aussie industries are now thumbing their noses at the tyrants within the Chinese Communist Party, because we all know China's been trying to damage our economy by crippling some of these export industries. The communists have targeted our barley, our coal, our copper, cotton, timber, sugar, wine, the seafood industries, and they've done it because we had the impertinence to demand the truth behind their lies about the Wuhan Flu. Well, economic analysis reveals that their actions, the Chinese Communist actions, have reduced our exports to China by about $20 billion over the last year. That's bad news. But the good news is that most of this has been made up or offset by new buys in other countries. And that is great news for our primary producers. Because an over-reliance on one market, my dad taught me this, an over-reliance on one market or one customer means they essentially own your business. And especially when the customer is as pedantic and as aggressive dictatorship like China is. It leaves us all vulnerable if we're reliant on them. And by all accounts, the impact of the China trade tantrum this past year is going to be less than $1 billion. It's still significant, but it's not a fatal blow. And there's even more good news though. When we consider the booming price of iron ore, the totality of Aussie exports has actually grown significantly over the last 12 months. That's fantastic news. And it buys us a bit more time to find some more amenable and cooperative long-term trading partners. But it doesn't mean we're out of the woods economically. Eventually, China will find alternative supplies of iron ore, which is why we need to continue to broaden our global sales base in a whole range of export industries. And I also want to point out that our wine and seafood export sectors are still struggling and finding it very, very hard to replace the high volume, high value Chinese market. Maybe you know, but around a third of Australian wine exports were previously sent to China. So many in that industry are feeling the pain. And the Australian Southern Rock lobster industry has been almost 100% reliant on the Chinese market to make a good buck. And that too has all but vanished. And the problems in these two sectors are going to affect us all, of course, because we're Australians. But they're going to be particularly felt in some of our regional communities. And these communities, often comprised of small vignerons and fishers, together with their families, the workers and the supply chains that help them out, are some of what makes Australia truly great. They need to survive. That means they need our support through this tough time. And that's why, I've got to say, I was pleased to see Trade Minister Dan Tehan talking up a Team Australia approach to help us win in Asia. Personally, I think our future economic fortunes are tied to Asia, and the great opportunities that lay there will be for our clean food and our mineral products. And a coordinated approach to Asian nations, other than China, can not only help lessen our reliance on a single country, but it can also help prevent China from dominating the region, which is clearly its intention. Now, we've already made some strategic errors in our China relationship. Kevin Rudd and the Labor Party essentially prostrated themselves at the feet of the Chinese, while the wet Turnbull Bishop government demonstrated their gullibility when they believed China had no interest in militarising the South China Sea. I happen to think the current PM has got pretty much the right approach. Stick up for our country, maintain our dignity in the face of belligerence, and give the Chinese, through renewed export success, a diplomatic up yours.